Hello and welcome to the cabin of the Volkswagen ID.3, the updated ID.3. It's had a little bit of work done and it's never looked better. It's also had a price cut, which is probably even better news for consumers. We do like to see price cuts, particularly on electric vehicles. There's two battery options like before. There's the 58 kilowatt hour that starts now from about €37,000 and it's got a theoretical range of over 400 kilometers. Then there's the 77 kilowatt hour battery version like what I'm driving. It starts from now €42,000. These are on the road prices, and it will get you over 500 kilometers theoretically. I'll talk a little bit more about real world range later in this video. There haven't been any massive changes when it comes to styling because it is a facelift after all, but they have removed the black strip from the upper part of the bonnet. There's also a new front bumper and it's got new aerodynamic scoops that actually makes it a teeny bit more aerodynamic than the version it replaces. There's also this new colour, it's called dark olivine green, and I have to say it does look really nice in the metal because I wasn't sure about it at first. And I think it does look good with those 20-inch alloy wheels that you get on this Pro S Plus model. At the back there's some new tail light clusters, and that's about it for this latest ID.3. There's a few small changes to the cabin of the ID.3. So a few more soft touch materials in more places. So for example, they've expanded that soft fabric area in the doors just to give, I suppose, more of a perceived feeling of plushness and quality. They've also updated the software here in the touchscreen. But I do find the cabin quite austere. It's very minimalist. Now, I used to drive Volkswagen Golf Mark IV. It had, I suppose, one of the best cabins of a compact car in years. I think this would actually fall short of that Golf Mark IV, and that's over 20 years ago. So I think Volkswagen do need to reimagine these interiors of their electric compact cars. But when you do spend time in it, it does have that quality feel. It is well put together. There's no squeaks or rattles. So it's very much a Volkswagen in that way. There is a feeling of quality to it. I just think that the minimalist look is not its best look. Now when it comes to the touchscreen, that's 10-inch. You've got Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. It's actually wireless Apple CarPlay, which is great. And there's no lags or no glitches. I've found it pretty smooth to use this week. You've still got all the touch sensitive controls, like for the ventilation. I'm less keen on that, but look, that's just the way it is and you do get used to it after a while. You've also got this small digital instrument cluster as before as well. The ID.3 is nice to drive. It has that inherent golfness almost to it, but electrified. So it's got well-weighted controls, there's a nice cohesive feel to it, a good solid quality feel, like what you would expect from Volkswagen. So none of that has been lost, I'm happy to say. There's a 204 horsepower motor that's sending power to the rear wheels, just like the original Beetle, and it's swift and agile as you would expect from an electric vehicle. You've got lots of torque there. It's 310 Newton meters. So you have a few different driving modes. There's also a B mode, which increases the regenerative braking. You can't adjust the strength of that, but I do find it good, and you see it sending energy back into your battery. It's not the most exciting car to drive in the world. It doesn't really have a huge amount of character. It's not particularly sporty, but it is very capable really on the road, and you do feel very secure and safe in the handling. Comfort levels are generally good, a little bit of firmness in town over manhole covers or any bumps or ruts in the road surface. That's not completely unique to Volkswagen. You'll find that often in bigger EVs as well. It's just something to be aware of. An actual fuel-powered Golf is probably a bit more supple and comfortable overall, but refinement levels are very good, I have to say. So it's not too noisy here in the cabin. I've been averaging between about 18 and 19 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometres. It has been a particularly cold spell in Ireland, and that will put me on track for a real world driving range of between about 405 kilometres and 430 kilometres. So I think that's good. It is the 77 kilowatt hour battery version. Gives you that little bit more comfort between battery charges. A bit of a stretch there. Now, DC fast charging is up to 120 kilowatt. So you're on for a 5 to 80% battery charge in about 30 to 35 minutes. That's pretty standard. And then there's an 11 kilowatt onboard AC charger, which is good if you're using those 22 kilowatt chargers that are more plentiful in Irish towns and cities. If you're charging at home, it doesn't make as much of a difference because you're probably using a 7 kilowatt wall box anyway. There's a 385 litre boot, which is the same as the Golf, so it's a good size for a hatchback. You've got a little bit of underfloor storage, or it's actually a split floor, so you can put the charging cables in under there and keep them out of sight. The ID.3 is built on a dedicated electric vehicle platform, so it is a good use of space inside the vehicle. That seat is in my driving position. I have enough legroom there, and headroom is not bad either. You've got this flat floor as well, the width of the cabin. So even, I was going to say even the middle seat passenger, but in the 77 kilowatt hour battery version, you only get 2 seats, one on either side here. But if you go for the 58 kilowatt hour, you do get that full seat. It's something to do with the weight on the rear axle with the larger battery. You also get a rear armrest with cup holders. The hatch opens through to the boot as well, and there's 2 USB-C ports. So it is competitive for an electric hatchback when it comes to space. So to sum up this Volkswagen ID.3, well, it's been great to spend some proper time behind the wheel of it. There's obviously a lot more new competitors now. Renault Megane E-Tech, there's the MG4, there's the Cooper Born, which is a sister car to this, and they're all got their merits, you know, they have their strengths. So the price cut definitely helps the ID.3. It's quite minimalist here in the cabin. I'd like to see a more Golf-like interior in a Volkswagen electric car. That's personal taste. I'm not too keen on all this minimalist. I think the next generation ID cars are probably going to be a bit more like that. If you look at the new ID.2, for example, that's expected in 2025. So there's some good stuff coming from Volkswagen. I think they will have learned a lot from their first generation ID family of vehicles, so it'll be nice to see what comes next. For the moment, this is a good electric hatchback. Let's be honest, there's plenty of driving range there. So that's all from me behind the wheel of the ID.3. You can read more about this car over on changinglanes.ie. I left a link in the description below the video. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.